Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the news. Let's have a look at the main points for today. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today inaugurated the 59.955 km Jowai Nartyang Ketiap Khanduli Road in West Jaintia Hills. The Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council passes Rs 214.60 crore deficit budget for 2026-27. President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches development projects worth Rs 47,600 crore in Orissa. And India delivers strong performance on Day 2 of the ISSF Junior World Championship 2026 in Germany. Now let's have a look at the details. Let's have a look at the local news. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today inaugurated the 59.955 km Jowai Nartyang Ketiap Khanduli JNKK Road in West Jaintia Hills, a project funded by the New Development Bank at a cost of Rs 59.48 crore. During her visit, she interacted with students of Kyangnangba Government College and young footballers at Wahiajer, besides visiting the Sri Ma Jayanti Temple and the Nartyang monoliths. She also inspected stalls showcasing Meghalaya's GI-tagged products and interacted with local farmers and artisans.
There are deceptive operations. Can be through phones, can be through some computer you're on your whatever, some kind of essay writing or something, and suddenly somebody pops up on your screen and says, "Hey, look, tell me these details." And innocently you do know this, but I'm getting distracted. And that's not good when you're here. And that's not your fault. You just wanted some information. But it's pounding you with things which you may not require for the purpose for which you want the information. And therefore, the note of caution that I want to give you is no one is going to stop you from using it.
Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma said Meghalaya has urged the centre to reconsider the ceiling imposed on externally aided projects during the 16th Finance Commission period. He said the state, which has a funding ceiling of around 3,500 crore rupees, was able to secure projects worth nearly Rs 12,000 crore through sustained efforts. Sangma noted that while about 90% of the loan component is borne by the Government of India, states must contribute 28% of project costs. Expressing optimism, he said Meghalaya hopes the ceiling will be removed or significantly enhanced to enable more development projects in the future.
So therefore, as I mentioned to you, 90% of the loan taken is repaid back by Government of India. And hence, at a certain point in time, the ministry felt that there were certain states who were taking more and certain states were not getting as much. And Meghalaya happened to be the ones which was taking more. So therefore, the Finance Ministry felt that they should put a ceiling on how much a state can take. So 3,500 crores was a ceiling that was given to us last time. But as you know, add up all together, the projects that we managed to get up and hook up for ourselves was about 12,000 crores. This year we have requested that that ceiling concept should not be there for the 16th Finance Commission period. So it's really now up to Madam Finance Minister and to Government of India and especially to Honorable Prime Minister to decide that.
The Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council passed its 2026-27 deficit budget, projecting expenditure of Rs 214.60 crore against revenue receipts of Rs 214.43 crore, resulting in a deficit of Rs 16.92 lakh. Presenting the budget, Executive Member in Charge Finance, Seborlang Warba, emphasized financial discipline and efficient use of council assets. The budget, approved by voice vote, will cover salaries and other expenditures of the executive, legislative and judicial wings of the KHADC. Former Cabinet Minister and NPP leader Amperin Lyngdoh on Friday raised concerns over possible challenges citizens may face during the upcoming Special Intensive Revision or SIR of electoral rolls following a meeting with residents to prepare for the exercise. Lyngdoh said there are still information gaps regarding the process, including the documents that will be accepted as proof of citizenship and whether electoral rolls from 2005 will be used as a reference point. She noted that many citizens, including indigenous residents, may not possess documents such as birth certificates or caste certificates and could face difficulties in establishing their eligibility. Lyngdoh also said citizens should be given sufficient opportunity to prove their claims and called for proper training of block-level agents or BLAs ahead of the exercise.
We have a lot of questions on the matter of, is it a fact that the electoral roll as of the notification of SIR's beginning its activities is at zero? Is it a fact that it is with reference to the 2005 electoral roll where voters will be given the cutoff for their existence in a roll? What happens to voters whose names are not there in the 2005 list? Is it a fact that if I am a migrant living in Shillong after 15 years but my original vote was in another location, is it a fact that I also have to refer to the part number, the section, the serial number of that particular roll? Will that roll be made available for me?
Marconi Thongni, president of the KSU Ranikor Circle, sustained minor injuries after he was allegedly stabbed during a public works program at Potkro village under Ranikor Civil Subdivision on June 19th. In an FIR lodged at Ranikor Police Station, Thongni accused two individuals of attacking him and injuring another villager, Kit Borlang Lingkoi. Police said medical examination confirmed the injuries were simple in nature and did not require stitches. A case has been registered and investigation is underway. As part of the observance of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking 2026, the Directorate of Social Welfare, Meghalaya, in collaboration with DREAM, organized a bike rally in Shillong to raise awareness on the dangers of drug abuse. Flagging off the rally, Director of Social Welfare, Saloni Verma, stressed the importance of community participation in combating substance abuse. The rally, involving 15 bikers, travelled through several areas including Lightcore, Milim, Lightlingkot and Maukodok, spreading messages promoting a healthy and drug-free lifestyle before concluding at Maukodok.
Continued efforts, we can continue to spread awareness against drug addiction because we know that it's a deep, malaise, a deep rot in our society, and we would like to help each and every person who is battling with that addiction to, face the reality, come out of it, drop the stigma. So all of us have a role to play. We need to break the stigma around drug use and drug addiction. We need to be compassionate and caring towards those who are afflicted by it, connect them to the nearest centers of support, depending on the kind of support that they need. And hopefully through small awareness initiatives like these, small and big, we can play a role in really, making our society drug-free.
The Jaintia Students Movement or JSM Education Cell organized a letter writing competition titled Voice of the Youth at Jaintia Eastern College, Cleriat on the theme Impact of Coal Blockade and Economic Recession. Speaking after the event, Leningstar Rambai, president of the Jaintia Students Movement, said the initiative aimed to give students a platform to share how the coal mining ban has affected their education and livelihoods. More than 20 students participated in the competition, and all letters will be submitted to Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma. A second session of the competition will be held in Jowai on June 27th. Minister of Labour and Employment, Methodius Dakhar, attended the EPFO Pradhan Mantri Viksit Bharat Rozgar Yojana outreach program and urged the EPFO regional office to ensure all eligible establishments in the state comply with EPFO norms so that employees can receive social security benefits. During the program, employers handed over 15 employment letters to newly recruited workers, facilitating their entry into the organized workforce and enabling them to avail former employment benefits. The Office of the Chief Electoral Officer, Meghalaya, in collaboration with IIDEM, organized a workshop on Model Code of Conduct for Campaigns in Shillong on Friday. Inaugurating the event, Fr. Kharkongor stressed the importance of ethical campaigning and responsible political conduct. CEO BDR Tiwari highlighted Meghalaya's role in the International IDEA Initiative, while experts, political party representatives and academicians discussed campaign ethics, media integrity, electoral transparency and democratic accountability. Their recommendations will contribute to a thematic document on the Model Code of Conduct for Campaigns. Let us now move on to the regional news. Preparations are in full swing at the NEET Re-Examination Centre at Dispur College ahead of tomorrow's exam. According to Navya Jyoti Bora, arrangements including CCTV cameras, jammers, seating plans and room allocations have been completed. A total of 720 candidates have been allotted across 19 rooms, each under CCTV surveillance. A mock drill and invigilator orientation are being conducted today, while the examination rooms will be sealed this evening. Candidates will be allowed entry from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., with the examination scheduled to begin at 2 p.m.
कल नेट एग्ज़ाम के लिए हम लोग सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, जितना प्रिपरेशन लेना है, जामा इंस्टॉलेशन, सीसी कैमरा इंस्टॉलेशन, रूम अरेंजमेंट, सीट प्लान, एवरीथिंग हो चुका है। कल फिर अब आज भी ट्रायल एक्ट होगा, मॉक ड्रिल होगा, उसके बाद ओरिएंटेशन होगा इन्विजिलेटर का, और हम लोग ने एक तो टीम एक्टिविटी बनाया है, जिसके लिए हम लोग सोच रहे हैं पूरा स्मूथली हमारा एग्ज़ाम हम कंडक्ट कर सकेंगे।
The All Naga Students Association Manipur, or ANSAM, organized a peace rally at Mao in Manipur, demanding justice for 6 Naga civilians who were allegedly abducted and killed. Participants marched from the Thangkul Baptist Church to Mao Market, carrying placards and raising slogans. Speaking on the occasion, Th. Angteshang called for a fair investigation and justice for the victims, while urging authorities to ensure accountability and protect the rights of indigenous communities.
Even after 30 days, the government's failure to book or to arrest even a single culprits or perpetrators who are involved in the abduction and brutally killing of those 6 Naga hostages is very unfortunate. And the association views this as that the government is not sincere enough. We are confident that if they are sincere, if their intervention is very sincere, the perpetrators and all those culprits who are involved in that heinous crime will be arrested.
We now move on to the national news. President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi today inaugurated and laid the foundation stone for development projects worth over rupees 47,600 crore in Orissa. The projects span key sectors including power, roads, railways, healthcare and education. Addressing the gathering, Modi said the initiatives would transform Orissa's resources into opportunities for growth and prosperity, while helping attract investments and promote industrial development through programs such as Utkarsh Orissa.
आज भी यहाँ ओडिशा के विकास से जुड़ी अनेक महत्वपूर्ण परियोजनाओं का लोकार्पण और शिलान्यास हुआ है। इन परियोजनाओं पर लगभग 47,000 करोड़ रुपए खर्च किए जाएंगे। बिजली, सड़क, रेलवे, स्वास्थ्य और शिक्षा से जुड़ी इन परियोजनाओं से आप सभी लोगों को बहुत सुविधा होने वाली है।
Padma Gurmit has been honored with the Padma Shri for his significant contributions to the field of Sowa Rigpa medicine. Here is a report.
Dr. Padma Gurmit, a healer who revived a dying legacy. In the silence of the Himalayas, a 2,500-year-old healing tradition was dying. Sowa Rigpa, listening to the pulse, curing with rare herbs. Dr. Padma Gurmit believed that some legacies are too sacred to lose. His journey as preserver of Sowa Rigpa started at a very young age. He used to watch his father prepare medicines and cure people. He didn't choose Sowa Rigpa. Sowa Rigpa chose him. At first, he did not want to learn the medicine system, but his father convinced him. Dr. Gurmit dedicated his life in reviving this medical practice. He even wrote several books on Sowa Rigpa, but preserving tradition isn't easy.
So it was quite challenging task to revive the system initially. It was quite suffocating to convince our own people that it is Indian heritage. So Sowa Rigpa used to be the last option for any student. The system was dying.
But he did not give up. Dr. Gurmit brought together many Sowa Rigpa practitioners, organized several conferences, and documented old literature. His request to Honorable Prime Minister led to the establishment of the National Institute of Sowa Rigpa at Leh. But the struggle did not end here.
In 2014, I got a press release from Chinese embassy in India, where they have clearly mentioned that China will claim for Tibetan medicine in UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage of China.
Dr. Gurmit collected all the references, supporting documents, and prepared a dossier. In this long journey, Dr. Gurmit was supported by many people.
My family has to sacrifice a lot. Almost 25 years, I has hardly taken any holiday. When my father was in good health condition, he used to tell, Medicine Buddha is with you if you are doing a noble task. One day you will achieve.
A new generation is turning back to an ancient wisdom. Through Dr. Gurmit's relentless efforts, Sowa Rigpa hasn't just survived. It has found a new life. Truly an inspiring journey from a healer's son to a catalyst of Sowa Rigpa in India. Dr. Padma Gurmit, Padma Shri 2026. Koti Koti Namaskar.
Time now for the international news. Iran's Persian Gulf Strait Authority has announced that transit fees for ships using the Strait of Hormuz will be waived during a 60-day negotiation period under a recently signed Memorandum of Understanding with the United States. Vessels will be required to submit transit requests at least 48 hours in advance and coordinate routes and timings to ensure safe navigation in areas affected by mines. The waiver covers security, safety, environmental services and related insurance charges. We now move on to sports news. India delivered a strong performance on Day 2 of the ISSF Junior World Championship 2026 in Seoul, Germany, winning 5 medals to take its overall tally to 8. Samir clinched gold in the 25-meter rapid-fire pistol men junior event, while Rohit Kanyan secured gold in the 50-meter rifle 3 positions men junior category. India also added 1 silver and 2 bronze medals in individual and team events, maintaining its position at the top of the medal standings. Brazil secured their first victory of the FIFA World Cup campaign with a convincing 3-0 win over Haiti on Saturday. While Brazilian fans welcomed the result after an opening 1-1 draw with Morocco, some remained cautious about the team's overall performance. Haiti, making their first World Cup appearance since 1974, earned praise from the supporters for their spirited display against the South American giants. Brazil will face Scotland next, while Haiti takes on Morocco on June 24th. Time now for the weather report. First, let's take a look at the weather report in Tura. Minimum temperature recorded stood at 28 degrees Celsius, maximum temperature at 31 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is 87% and the rainfall recorded at 2.5 millimeter. Moving on to Shillong, minimum temperature recorded stood at 19 degrees Celsius with a maximum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is 84%. Rainfall recorded at 1.4 millimeter. Meanwhile, in Jowai, minimum temperature recorded stood at 19 degrees Celsius and the maximum at 24 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity is 88% and the rainfall recorded at 2.0 millimeter. And the forecast, Tura will likely experience moderate rain, while Shillong and Jowai will likely witness heavy rain with thunderstorm at many places. Before we wind up, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today inaugurated the 59.955 km Jowai Nartyang Kadiap Khanduli Road in West Jaintia Hills. The Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council passes Rs 214.60 crore deficit budget for 2026-27. President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches development projects worth Rs 47,600 crore in Orissa. And India delivers strong performance on Day 2 of the ISSF Junior World Championship 2026 in Germany. And that's all we have for today. Do tune in again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you and good night.